Okay, here's the back side of this homework. So this says solve absolute value for x if g of x equals 8. So we're setting this equal to 8, and we've actually already done these problems. So we're saying when is the absolute value equal to 8? And so we set this up as 4x minus 2 equals 8, and then we also do 4x minus 2 equals a negative 8, because we know that if we took the absolute value of a negative 8, we would get 8. So solving this, I add 2 and I get 4x equals 10. Divide by 4 and I get x equals 10 over 4, which I can reduce to 5 over 2. How do I do that? I just divided by 2 divided by 2. You should solve that equation. All right, so now I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I get 4x equals a negative 6. Divide by 4, divide by 4. 4's cancel, and I get x equals a negative 3 over 2. And that's it for that problem. The next problem says evaluate it for x equals minus 6. This simply means I'm going to take negative 6 and plug it in. So I'm going to have 4 parentheses negative 6 minus 2. Remember, folks, when we're always substituting in for minus 6, especially with negatives, we want to put parentheses when we're substituting. So this is going to give me negative 24. Do multiplication first. Minus 2. Negative 24 minus 2 is a negative 26, and we know that the absolute value of any negative number is positive. But we also know that the absolute value of any positive number is also positive, so don't think you have to just switch it. So your answer here is 26, and you're done. Okay, the next one asks you for the domain and range. So for this graph right here, we know it's a V. We also know it goes right to, because of the minus 2. We also know it's a narrow graph, which is not really relevant. So I'm just going to go right to, and it's going to be, because it's a 4x, it's just going to be a little bit more narrow. That's not really relevant, though. The only thing you really care about would be the plus 2 means it's left to here, and the minus 2 means it's right to. So my domain says, what are all the x values? Well, I hit this x value of 0, and then all my x's are there, right? It goes up forever. So my domain is going to be 0 to infinity. Because I do hit 0, I put a bracket, and I can never hit infinity. It's a concept, it's not a number. All right, oops, that was my range, because that's how far I'm going up. That's my bad. So range is your y values. So it was my y that goes from 0 to infinity, right? I do hit a y value of 0. Now for my x's, which is my domain, I go all the way to the left for my x's and all the way to the right for my x's. So my domain is from negative infinity to infinity. All right, now for this one, let's do this again. We're going to solve that for 6. So we're going to have 2x plus 2 equals positive 6, and 2x plus 2 equals a negative 6. You guys took Algebra 1, so you can solve that on your own. Okay, this next one says take 3 and plug it in. So I'll have the absolute value of 2 times 3 plus 2. That gives me 6 plus 2 is 8. Absolute value of 8 is 8. All right, state the domain and range. So this tells me I'm going left to. So just like that. Okay, so my domain is all my x values. I have all the numbers to the left and all the numbers to the right. So domain is negative infinity to infinity. Range, though, is starting at 0 and going up forever. So that's going to be from 0 to infinity. All right, that's it for the front of this one.